Hey everyone, this is a quick video about the Casio fx-702p, Casio's first pocket computer that was released in 1981, and a year earlier Sharp had released the PC-1210 and PC-1211, the first commercially available pocket computers with basic programmability. And the PC-1211 was marketed outside Japan in 1980 by Tandy as the TRS-80 PC-1. And the 702p was very comparable to these devices, and although it supported a rudimentary dialect of BASIC, it did support more advanced mathematical functions than the Sharp devices, and it set the template for a product line that Casio would evolve greatly over the next 17 years. And to me, the most remarkable thing about the 702p's hardware is just how beautiful it is. It has a plastic case with an aluminum face with molded curves at its edges, and the display uses a significant portion of the width of the device. Then, apart from the on-off slider, the keyboard is arranged in this pleasing regular grid. The letters, of course, are ordered alphabetically rather than using a QWERTY layout, which does take some getting used to, but almost every function and keyword has a keyboard shortcut through its F1 and F2 shift keys, and this speeds up program entry greatly. On the back we can see there's a display contrast wheel, and there's a panel to access both a memory expansion card slot, although interestingly no memory cards were ever released, and there's also a battery compartment here with two CR2032 coin cell batteries. And on the left edge is an FA2 interface, which allows the 702p to store and retrieve files to a cassette recorder and print to a Casio FP10 Spark printer. This is a picture of the two PCBs from the excellent DataMath.org site, and so they're mounted together in a clamshell design. The larger PCB has two 4-bit Hitachi HD 43190A microcontrollers and two Hitachi display controllers. And the smaller PCB has four NEC 512-byte RAM chips. And the 2K of RAM is divided into 1680 basic steps and 26 memories. And overall, the 702p is a similar chipset to the fx-602p keystroke programmable calculator. Of course, the 702p, being a Casio, supports a number of modes. So in mode 0, run mode, we can use the 702p as an interactive calculator. So we can enter, for example, 2 + 3 × 4 and hit exec to see the answer. And the 702p supported more mathematical functions than its Sharp counterparts. There's regular, inverse, and hyperbolic trigonometric functions, and you can use the arc and hyperbolic keys as modifiers to sine, cos, and tan. And function parentheses are optional, so say we wanted to get the sign of a negative number, we could enter sine of, say, -5, or sine and then put -5 in brackets. And of course we can assign to numeric or string values and use those variables in expressions. So let's say x equals 5, and then use that in an expression. And the 702p supports a very simple version of BASIC, and to edit programs we select Write Mode 1, and we can select our program space from 0 to 9 using these P keys. So let's pick P0. Now I've created a simple program here that lists the prime numbers up to 100 using a 2,000-year-old algorithm, the sieve of Eratosthenes. And we can use list to edit and view each source line. And before running this program, we'll need to use the defm command to increase the blocks of memory to make available to programs. So defm 14 adds 14 blocks of 10 memory locations. And the 702p supports 1 and 2 dimensional arrays. You can see the code here uses a single dimension array of 100 items. And variable names on the 702p are just a single letter or a letter and a digit. And you can only use a single array with a variable name A. You can also see here the device supports nested for loops, and it also supports subroutines and GoSub. The device has some unusual abbreviations for some basic keywords. So for example, print is abbreviated PRT, and I don't know if this was so it would take up less space on the keyboard or not. And we can switch to mode 0 and hit P0 to run the program, and you can see after a while it starts printing out the list of primes and pausing at each print statement, so we can hit continue to skip to the next number. So the 702p was a pioneering device for Casio, and you can see from this later 720p from 1986 how Casio's pocket computers evolved, moving to a QWERTY keyboard layout and also experimenting with different screen sizes. But at their core, all of Casio's basic pocket computers are quite similar. And as for the overall market, pocket computer sales peaked in 1981 with 600,000 units and then started to gradually decline. But as I've mentioned in other videos, they were used for decades in Japanese engineering classes, and so there was considerable evolution of functionality up until Sharp's G850V, which was released in 2001 and which I have a separate video on. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful, and if you have, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get alerted of new videos.